Odyssey. So you're free to join the live chat and post anything you want about programming or lifestyle topics. As you can see, right now I have a link. It says YouTube, but I said you can join the other channels if you like. You're free to do that. All right, and also be sure to subscribe, like, follow, and leave comments. It helps the channel grow. And a lot of tutorials are obviously what I like to do, but also some of them are inspired by requests by viewers just like yourself, not just subscribers but viewers. Okay, so back to the show. So creating a simple snowman with a Blender Python API and displaying it in a web browser, we're going to use the model viewer. So you guys, as you know, this is a series. I've done so many Blender Python tutorials. I even have a book. It's called Mastering Blender Python. I'll speak about it later near the end of the tutorial. So basically what we're going to do is I'll walk you through the process of generating a basic snowman. It's going to be a low poly. Obviously, if you want, you can make it as complicated as you want. But some of my viewers requested that I make this the Python part of the tutorial more like OPP, that's object-oriented programming, so they can follow along, and it's fun as well. When you're doing something you like, it's easy to get grasp of the language and in the program. So in order to follow along, you do need to have Blender and Python installed. So Blender is actually programmed in C and C++, but they use Python for the API part. Okay, so basically it's just a few basic shapes. We're going to use spheres, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make some sticks. We're going to have a cone, and then we're going to have some buttons here as well. They're just little spheres, and that's it. And you can see I deliberately left it as low poly as possible, just to show you, because some people thought that the stuff I make is way too complex. It's literally, it's not. So I deliberately made this one as simple as possible, just show you that you can do anything with your own imagination. So obviously, I said you can make it as complex as you want. And for light, I used an HDR image. I used the courtyard. All I did was convert it from, as you can see here, I just converted it from EXR to HDR. Okay, so yeah, and then once the script is created, just run on your command line blender space hyphen background space hyphen python space and the name of your script. That's it. So it will generate a blend file. It will generate a blend file here to generate the GLB file, which is the glTF binary format, and then you're ready to put it on the web. So for the web, we use the model viewer. So for that part, that will be down here. That's HTML. You see the model viewer component, and that's it. You're done. And obviously, we have the environmental image here. You can use that, or you can put your own lights, or just use it. By default, the model viewer comes in basic lighting in the camera. However, using the courtyard or whatever you want is, you have more options. So that way, you don't have to muck around with lights. And then I want to talk about the HDR images. I think I might do a dedicated tutorial on this. So the most popular ones or most known ones are HDR, like this one here. There's EXR, that's the one that Blender uses. There's KTX, also known as KTX1. So this one wasn't, the uptake wasn't a lot. So this one is basically almost forgotten. But this one here, KTX2, all the GPU manufacturers and the working groups for the web, they said they will take this one up. So this one, the KTX2, this one is supposed to be meaning that the textured images go right into your GPU, as you can see here. So unfortunately, as of even right now, late 2025, the most common ones are usually HDR and XEXR. So XER, it says here it's the most widely supported in the web applications. This is not really true because now the good thing about EXR is that it's better compressed than HDR. But HDR is more. What I mean is that in order to use EXR, you most likely need a plugin, or you need to use in a framework, so like 3JS. You can just use it right in the web. HDR is more widely supported if you're doing other stuff besides 3D modeling. And the KTX and KTX2, these ones are optimized, as I said, for the GPUs and generally offer faster rendering. However, they're not as commonly supported in all browsers as EXR. So just be aware of that. So if you're gonna, in fact, even finding a converter, like for example, if you have a JPEG and you want to convert it to KTX or KTX2, it's going to be very difficult. You probably have to go to the Chronos group and download some of the utilities in order to do that. Meanwhile, for example, in Blender itself, I can convert between HDR and EXR. And for example, Blender, just a Blender, yes. I meant GIMP. The GIMP you can easily convert back and forth. You can probably even use on the command line. You can use something like Image Magic. So what I'm saying is that this one is a more widely common than this one here. So for open source, that's as you guys know, that's what I stick to open source. I'll explain why I do that. It's because proprietary stuff, they restrict what you can do or how you can use the application. So that's why and plus usually the graphics they have are usually trademarked or copyrighted. So meaning that if I even just to make a tutorial, I have to get their permission. So I don't want to deal with all that stuff. So you can convert, as say, HDR to XR. We explained that all to other formats back and forth, like PNG or JPEGs, but this won't retain the HDR Lightning as well as a dedicated format. I believe WebP does do that, but I think that part might not be supported as well. For best results, just stick to EXR or HDR for lighting, and that's what I did. That's why I converted it. So in the future, I might move to KTX2, but I'll have a drop back for you guys who maybe don't have a powerful enough GPU. I think even nowadays, if you have a laptop that came out at least in the last about 8 years or so, it should be able to support KTX and KTX2. Even my old laptop from like 2011, it did support it. So I'm thinking, yeah, you should, and obviously phones should easily support it as well. All right, and then you can see the screenshots here. So I'm not going to talk about the screenshots because we're going to actually review this as well pretty quickly. And this is the live stream. So if I click on this, 2011. It did support. There we go. So you can tell this is a live stream. Speaking of the live stream, I'm just going to scroll this down just a little bit. That's perfect. I'm going to check the live streams, make sure they're fine, because there have been some wonky things where the microphone would drop and the FFmpeg would stop as well, and then the live stream would get cut off near the end. So I'm going to make sure it's working now. Just give me a second. I'm going to refresh. First one is Odyssey. Not Odyssey, I meant BitChute, sorry about that. BitChute is working fine. I'm going to also refresh Rumble to make sure Rumble is working fine. Rumble is playing great. Rumble is playing an ad. Okay, so I'll go and check out Odyssey. Is Odyssey going to work for this time? No, of course not. Of course. I don't know. What is wrong with Odyssey? Why do I always have to refresh twice? Jeez, fix that, guys. Okay, Odyssey is working. I'm gonna guess Rumble is working. So skip ad. I'm gonna check YouTube. YouTube seems to be fine as well. Okay. So skip ad. Okay, Rumble seems to be working perfect. Okay. All right. As you can see here, is that another ad? Are you kidding me? All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up these two files and I'll show them to you. Might as well start with HTML since it's open here. Okay, so HTML, very simple, as you can see, just the doc type, HTML tag. You don't need the lang. I left that for, I think I copied from somewhere and I just left it. UTF-8, that's default on post type systems. That's Unix, Mac OS, Linux, etc. I believe the only one that uses something different was Windows, at least in the past. I used to use UTF-16. I've seen a lot of stuff by Microsoft. It always says UTF-8, so that's good to see because it makes things easier. And the viewport, I put the device width, I set the initial scale to 1, so that if you have a small device like a phone, you'll be able to view this without having, because by default it shows the desktop version, which is really like scaled down, or you have to zoom in. So this one you don't have to. It's just a title, a low poly snowman, and then this is the important part here. We load this module. We use a CDN, so it's this one here, model-view, and I'm using the minified version. That's why it's in min.js. And then the styling here is subjective. You can style it any way you want. So this is not a styling tutorial. You put whatever you want. I like a little dark background, so that's why you see here it says hash 2222. It's like a dark grayish background. And then you'll just have a, what happened here? Yikes. That wasn't closed off. I think I must have copied it from somewhere. Okay, so there we go, low poly snow model. And the model-viewer, the source is obviously our GOB file. And the alt here is just an alt tag, that doesn't mean anything. And then we auto rotate. Camera control, so we can rotate it ourselves if we wish, the camera view. AR if you do have it. And then we have shadow. I always leave the shadow intensity to 1. And the environmental-image, that's our courtyard HDR image. So next time I'll try the EXR, because EXR is, as I said, they are highly they're way better compressed than HDRs. That's the one that Blender uses by default. So the animation name, there's no animation, but I left that because I said I just did a copy pasta. And then autoplay. That autoplay is only for if it has an animation, and then that's it. That's literally all we need. So now I'm gonna, so I was gonna drop the command line, but let's take a look at the Python file here. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So we import the Blender Python module. We import math. I'll explain why we need math later. That's usually for converting to radians, because I want to say 90 degrees and convert it automatically to radians. Because if you don't know what radians are, radians only go from 0 to 1. So Blender uses radians, for example, even for color. So if you want to do RGB, you can't put like 255, 255, 255 for white. You have to put, 111 so that's what I'm saying, like you need to convert. So if you're doing RGBs, there's 255 and there's also 128. So that's so the math will just make it easy for us and make it accurate. And the OS, this allows me to, because I want to save things in relative to where the Python file is. For example, when we generate the Blender file and the GLB file, I want to be relative to where the Python file is, so that's why I import the OS as well. Now, for the configuration, obviously just the name of the blend file and the name of the glTF file. glTF comes in 3 formats. There's one, the default one is a JSON file, text file. And then there's one that's a JSON file with the embedded image. So that's going to be very bigger because it has to convert it probably to base 64 or base 32, one of them. So that's going to be very big. And then this one is a binary one. That's the GOB. So I took that one because everything is all in one place instead of having the file in a separate, like the images, if you use them in a separate place. Okay, and then here we have this script -drr. So this one is not needed anymore. If when I was using the Flatpak version, in order to get it to save to where the relative to where the Python file is, I had to do this. That is because the Blender Flatpak version, it's allowed to go into my home folder, but nowhere else. So sometimes for example, as you know, I use Blender for video editing. So sometimes I would edit a video that's outside my home folder. So that's why I had this. And sometimes, and even with that, it would not work very well if it's outside of /home, right? For example, this one is in /home/zzz/tutorial/blender. So that's why I had to write this one. So I left it there because Blender 5 is coming out pretty soon. Obviously, I probably won't get that in Fedora for a while. So if I want to test some things, I might probably have to use the Flatpak version, or if because Fedora which is owned, highly maintained by Red Hat, is that they only allow open source, or whatever their lawyers say, open source software. So if something is missing, like a dependency or something, I might have to use the flatpak version. So that's why I have this here. So you guys, as you know, for you who requested the OPP, the object-oriented programming. So you see here, for clearing the scene, I have a special function for that. All it does is just it selects all the objects and deletes them. So if you guys don't know, as of 2025, at least in Blender 4.5, the LTS, it gives a default cube, a default camera, and a default light. So I don't want to use those ones because that might break my script in the future. Meaning in the future they might remove some things or add more, so they might interfere with this type of script. So remember, for my lighting, I'm going to use an HDR image, so I don't need any lights, and obviously I don't need a camera because I'm going to be using the model viewer. Okay, then we have one to create our materials. It just takes in two arguments, the name and the color, and you can see to create a new material here, it is going to use nodes, and we're going to use the principled BSDF, and the base color will be whatever color has been passed into it. That's it, and then we return the material object. Then this is the main generation logic. It's called generate_snowman. We clear the scene, okay, and then we create some materials for the snow, for the coal, for the carrot, and for the wood. And then for our spheres, obviously remember we have the body parts. So we have the bottom body, the middle body, and the top body. As you can see here, they're just spheres, all of them. And the radiuses are changed, so because you get bigger, or if you will, smaller. If you go from the bottom to the top, obviously the bottom is the biggest, the middle is slightly smaller, and then the top is even smaller. And then what we do is we append them. We append the materials to each of them, so you can see here, that's what we do. And then we create those buttons. So just give them different locations, and then we just use a for in loop to make some spheres. I remember I told you it's going to be mostly spheres for everything, and then we just put the location there, and that's it. And then we append the colors for each of them. Obviously that's a coal one. It will signify like a lump of coal. Okay, and then after that we need to create eyes. So again, we're going to use our coal material, and so we create eyes. You can see there's going to be a little bit an offset. So those are eyes. We put our locations there, the radius, as you can see, the eyes. And then obviously we're going to do something similar for the mouth. So for the mouth, we're going to, we put the points there and the radius, and then we use this. This is another. So remember I told you about math. You see, we use radians here. So that's for the angle, and then obviously we use cosine as well. That's also a math thing, and then the sine, which is also from math. And then after that, we just add the sphere with the radius and the location, and then we also add the material, which is a coal material. Then for the carrot, we use a cone. That's the first time we don't actually use a sphere. We use a cone. You see how many vertices, the radius, the depth, and the location, and the rotation. So as you see here, the rotation, it lets me put just 90 instead of having to do the math myself. You see, we use the math.radians. Okay, and then for the nose, that's basically our carrot. You see, we add the material to that. That's it. And then we need to create the wooden sticks. So we have the location there for the left arm, right arm, and then we're going to use a cylinder. So this is what do we use for the? We use the cone. So this one we use a cylinder. So that's the third different material we've used. You see the radius, depth, location, and rotation. Again, the math.radians. And then we append the material, and then we also create the what do you call it? Another cylinder. Obviously, this is one hand, the left one, and then we're going to have the right one. So it's the same thing. Obviously, the only difference will be the locations. Obviously, left and right. Then that one also gets the wooden material. Then after that, we can save the blend file. That's how we do it. and then we create a path for the our what's this, GLB file. So after saving the blend file, we select we select everything, and then we set the file output path, and then we export the underscore format will be GLB, export underscore apply true, export underscore y up is set to true, and export animation is set to true, but there's no animations, and use selection set to true. So that's it. We're done there. And then for execution, main is the generate underscore snowman. That's it right there. That's our entire code. Okay, I'm gonna drop to the command line here, and I'm gonna delete these two here just to show you that it does work. So just type blender space hyphen b, lowercase b for background, space hyphen capital P for the Python part, and then just say hello hyphen poly hyphen snowman dot py, and you can see here it's going to run, and you see it's generated our blend file and our GLB file. So I'm going to zoom out here just a little bit so you can see what's going on. So you can see here it went through all them, it created the spheres, you can read everything it has done. So yeah, so there we go. Now we can open this up, and you see how long it took? Less than a second, right? In fact, less than it's 0.05 or 0.55 seconds, really fast. So if I double click on this, it should open up in Blender, and then you can see our snowman here. So let me make this a little bit smaller so people narrow, so people on the vertical screens can see. So if we go to our scripting tag here, you can just click new, and then you paste your code in here, and then it will generate the snowman as well, including the GLB file. So let's go back to the layout. So this is our snowman. Obviously the same stuff, you can rotate, do all that good stuff, move it around. And you can go to the shading tab, or you can, for example, if you click this one here, you can change the viewport shading as well. So pick the one you want, and I said you can also go to the shadings right here. So in shading here, you can see all this was created by Python. All right, so that's it. Now I'm just going to close this. We don't need it. So since I'm on the command line, the last thing that we need is the what is it we need? Did I get this right? Just give me a second. Oh, I think I got the wrong. Oh yeah. Oh, I have the wrong code. So let me make sure I have the right code. Yeah, let me make sure I get. I need to open up this code again. Just give me a second. Sorry about that. Okay, just open up with Guinea. Doesn't really matter. Just hold on a second. I have the wrong code here. Because sometimes some people request some things and I'm not able to repeat it. Okay, there we go. Let's go down. All right, back here. Okay, back here. Now you can use any server you want. You just need an HTML server. So it could be Python, it could be PHP, you could use Apache, Nginx, etc. All you need is a server. So I'm going to start up. I'm going to use Python since we're using Python here. So just type Python space -m, and I'm going to use http.server, and the port number I'll just use 8080. Note that. Oh, I put HTTPS, my bad. It's HTTP server. Okay, there we go. Alright, so you can see it says 0.0.0.0. So this allows me to obviously go to 0.0.0.0 or use 127.0.0.1 or use localhost. So the reason I want the 0.0.0.0, the four of them, is that so that allows me to also use it on my phone, and I'll show you that when we actually use this. Okay, so let me go to, I'm going to bring up a tab here just to show you what's going on. Hi Dreams, Dreams_mission. Hello. Alright, so I'm gonna actually I don't need to zoom in. Let me just go to the normal one. So here I just type http :/ I can so I'll just use localhost just to show you. So localhost will go to 80:8080 / low poly. It's not a table. It's the I think it's just Snowman. Snowman. I think it's one word. Snowman. Yes, it is. It's one word. So you see my hands are here. You should see it. See, it's auto rotating by itself. You see my hands are right here. I'm not doing anything. And the reason it's like this is because it's using the courtyard. If you don't remember what the courtyard looks like, the courtyard has like a dark area, has a light area, and has I think a dog or something. So sometimes you can see the reflections. So for example, I can rotate this. You see this? I can rotate it. And you can also rotate it any way you want, up, down, etc. in 3D space. So it's the 3D, 100% 3D. So I said it's a low poly. You can obviously, there's some easy things you can improve. For example, the corner I think looks actually pretty nice. Maybe the call dreams_mission wants to know what my name is. Seriously? When I use Edward Ojambo, I said that's the first thing I always say, Edward Ojambo. And it's also right here, it says Edward here. That's my name, Edward. Alright, what else is here? Yeah, so that's it. So I'm gonna whip up the phone and I'm gonna show you what it looks like on the phone as well. I'm gonna use the Chromium browser because some other browsers they don't come with the GPU to run 3D stuff, so that's what I'm going to use. But I'm saying you could use Firefox. Where is the Chromium browser? Oh, that's weird. Guess I haven't used it in a while. Okay, so then all you do is you go to, oh, I forgot. I think it's 192.168.1.106, and then colon 8080. / low poly. Oh, I still have the boxing ring. Should get rid of that. Alright, I'm going to show you this before I hit enter. I'll type Snowman. Okay, just show you there. That's on my phone. And I'm going to hit go, and you can see it's loaded up there. So that's on the phone. And then obviously it's a touch device. You see, you can still rotate it even on the, you see that? I can still rotate it even on the phone. Alright. You know what I should have done? I should have, one thing I should have done is, I should have set up source copy so I can show you what it actually looks like on the phone, but maybe I'll do that in the next time. Or dreams_mission want to learn Python. Oh, Python is a good language to learn. I'll give you some resources on how to learn Python. So that's basically the tutorial right there. See, I'll let it rotate by itself, and as you can see, they're running. So if you're interested in learning more about Python programming or Blender's Python API, you can check out my books. They're available on Amazon. I have a Learning Python book. I have the Mastering Blender Python API. So both these books are available on Amazon. You can search for Edward Ojambo, or you can just click on the links. The links are also in the description. So either you go to the article on ojambo.com, or you can simply click on the links in the description. I also offer a course on Python programming. It's called Learning Python. It's available on ojamboshop.com. The link is also in the description. And if you need personalized one-on-one tutorials, including Blender Python, feel free to reach out to me. You can contact me on ojambo.com/contact. And I also have 3 other recommended resources. I live in a cabin up literally in I'm just surrounded by farmers here, so there's no internet. The cellular service is sporadic, so I use the SpaceX Starlink residential service. So if you're thinking of getting it, you can use my referral link and you'll get a discount. For example, Canadians right now get the equipment for free. if you use a referral link. So use my referral link and you get the equipment for free. If you're anywhere else around the world, you will get a discount. The type of discount and its duration is dependent on your geographical location. So you will get a discount and it will be significant. So be sure to use my my Starlink residential service referral link. And then I also have an affiliate link. It's for this little guy here. This is the Honeywell HeatBud Personal Ceramic Heater. It's available on Amazon. It has a trip protection, meaning if it falls over, this guy, it will stop working. It has, you can see that it has an off, low, and high. Low uses 170 watts, high uses 250 watts. So this guy helped me a lot in the last year. I was able to save over $100 a month in propane costs. So I'll explain how that works. The first year I moved here, it was a mild winter and I was spending $350 a month on propane in a mild winter. Last winter it was very harsh winter. So the coldest month, which was February, I only paid $250. So that's an amazing cost savings, and that's because of this guy. So what I was able to do is I was able to drop the temperature, the thermostat to 16 degrees Celsius, and because this is a space heater, just my personal space here, I can use this. If I need a little bit of heat, I turn it on. You know, one thing I haven't done in a while, I haven't turned this guy on, so I'm going to turn it on just so you guys can hear it. So it's running right now. I don't know if you hear that sound. That's actually the little guy running. It's on low. I'm going to put it on high. So that's high. I don't think there's a difference actually. Yeah, because it's ceramic heat. There's no. I think just more heat is generated. The fan doesn't spin louder when it's on high. So now it's off. So if you're looking for a space heater, you can pick up this one at Amazon. Please use my affiliate link. That means I'll get a commission, and that's one way you can help me out as well. And finally, also on Amazon, I have this. It's called the Algorithmic Serpent. It's my novelette, and it's by me. See, that's my name there, Edward Ojambo there. It's about a scientist who creates an AI system and loses his mind and has to regain control of his mind and the AI system. And this is the back. So as you can see, this is the paperback version. As you can see, there's pages in there, and there's also an ebook version. The ebook version is free if you have Kindle Unlimited. So be sure to pick it up, either the ebook version or the paperback version, if you have the means. I made them as affordable as possible. The paperback version is for the majority of the cost. About 95% goes towards shipping and printing, and for the ebook version, it's storage costs. Pick it up if you have the means, and let me know what you think. All right. So with that, I'm gonna check the live chat, and Dreams_Mission says, okay, by the way, which computer language has more scope, Python or other? And how much can we earn monthly after expert in Python? Okay, so if for example, I'm a freelance programmer, so I dictate how much, obviously, what my hourly rate is, or if I have a contract. So it also depends the type of work you're willing to do. For example, I can command probably more because obviously I have the experience, and I what do you call it? I do more than just simply programming. As you guys see, I don't just do back end stuff. I do front end. I do back end things as well. For example, even right now, what I'm doing, it's not just simple coding. It's just showing you what you're capable of doing from Blender, which is an open source program, obviously Python. So what I'm saying is that the amount you can earn depends on what what value you're offering your potential clients or your employer. So what I've found is if you work for someone, you will unless they value you or value your skills, you're gonna be limited. They're gonna limit you to how much you can earn. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that if you're motivated like me, you can earn potentially as much as you want or you need, right? For example, if some people are not like me in that they don't want to do like the accounting part, they don't like talking to people, right? So I'm saying is that I do all of that. So obviously you can put me in a different bracket, but I'm saying is if you don't want to do that, you want to work for somebody else, that's perfectly fine. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Or for example, if you want to work for an agency, what I'd recommend is if you don't know what you want to do, work for an agency. Agency will find you the clients, so they will do that work for you. You don't have to do that. So you know what I mean? So you can just work. You can tell them this is the only thing I want to do. So the other thing is, he says, by the way, which computer language has more scope, Python or some other? So for me, for example, I'll tell you a little background about myself. I started programming using, I think it was called BASIC or DOS BASIC way back in the 80s. And when I wanted to program games, I found out that it was very limiting. So I had to learn other languages like Pascal, and later on, like C. I only learned C, I think, back in the 2000s, right? That's when I actually started learning C. So what I'm saying is that, and then obviously when I started my own company in 2009, that was for web-related stuff. That was mostly PHP, so I had to learn PHP as well. So what I'm saying is that you can learn, just learn what you're comfortable with, and then once you're comfortable in that language, it will be easy to learn other languages. I'll give you an example. One of my clients, he taught himself how to program using, say, Excel, right? And then later on, he wanted to learn PHP, so he came to me and I tutored him how to learn PHP, right? So what I'm saying is that once you have one language, you'll be able to pick up other languages easier. Now, it's not easy, especially languages like CSS and HTML, because those are markup type languages. So those are very, very difficult for people to wrap their heads around. But I'm saying is, you pick any language. I recommend a script. So whether it's like Perl, PHP, Python, even something like Bash scripting. What's the one for Windows? What do they call that one? What is it? Is it Batch or Bash? Whatever the Windows one is. Yeah, I'm saying is once you learn one of them, and then you'll be able to understand the concept of other languages. For example, I personally don't like Java, right? But I've used Java. For example, I have Android applications, and I've helped clients who have Java applications as well, whether it's a desktop or Android. I've helped them as well. So I'm saying is that the reason I don't like Java is it forces you to use classes. That sometimes you don't need to, when you're creating something simple, you don't need to write a class. Anyways, the point is, pick up any language you want. Some people say Python is easy. Yeah, it is. It is pretty easy to learn. Or you can use JavaScript. For example, also when you learn, you don't want to learn a language that's dying. So, despite what people say, C and C++ are going to be around for a while. So, so I would recommend, for example, like JavaScript is pretty good to learn because things like Node.js, there's so many libraries like this, TypeScript, jQuery. I learned JavaScript because of jQuery, right? Which is kind of funny. So now I don't even use jQuery anymore. I usually use just plain JavaScript or vanilla JavaScript. But sometimes there's some applications which have a lot of jQuery. Of course, I know jQuery, so I can do it. So what I'm saying is that pick a language you want, or a language that that's easy for you to learn. Stick to it, finish it, and then you'll be able to use other languages. For example, all my programming books, you will notice they are very similar in that I go through the same type of steps, like the introductory, not introductory, what it means, the little bit of history, and then the types, and you'll notice there will be patterns, right? So it's very easy. For example, when I wrote my first book, it took me a very long time, but then when I wrote other books, it was easy because that was a template. Because I was like, oh, this, yeah, the same things. Like, how do you do this in this language? So what I'm getting at, just pick a language. I would recommend, if you're going to pick a language, pick a popular language because you'll be able to get help easily. So, for example, JavaScript, Python, PHP. pick those type of language. Even Java's been around long enough, so I'm saying is that pick those language. But if you want something where you can see the results quicker, I would pick one of the languages. I said pick a scripting language: JavaScript, Python, PHP. For example, you saw what I did today. You can see the results quickly, right? How many lines was that? Right? Let's go see how many lines was this. Let me open this guy up again. Is it text? Okay. Because I have to open up the text editor first. So I'll show you. Let's see how many lines this was. I don't remember. Okay, so this guy is. Oops. This guy is 100 and. This guy is 159 lines. Now I could have made it short, 159 lines. Now try to do something like that in Java, right? Good luck with that. You have to compile. You won't be able to get anything done. So what I'm trying to say is that I find it easier if you have a scripting language because you can get the results much faster. Yes, it's not going to be as fast. What I'm saying is that this will help you learn much quicker than say, one of those bigger languages. So this, for example, there's other languages like Rust, which just came out. I think that is a little bit that will probably be too difficult for you. Pick a scripting language, and you'll be fine. All right, how much can we earn? I think I've explained that as well. You can, don't limit yourself. If you want to earn as much as possible, you can, if you're lucky enough to go with a big company that's hiring, like say a new startup, whatever, I would go with them for a while, but you will notice that you'll be limited. There will be a ceiling is what I'm trying to say. Now, if you all you care about is making money, sure, go with one of those companies. But I said for me, I want to. That's one of the reasons I work for myself is because I can, I can talk. People, my customers like me because when they speak to the person who's actually going to do who's going to do the coding. So when I tell them something, they understand that they know where I'm coming from because I tell them that can be done, or you know what I mean. They know, or that would be more expensive. So they appreciate that. So I'm saying it's up to you. If you just want to work, it depends on what you want to do. I'm saying if you can find a job. The problem with high-paying jobs with a company is that there's going to be a lot of competition, so you need to really stand out. But I said if you go on yourself, you can you can offer extra value to your customers. So that's my personal opinion. I mean, for working, I've worked in other companies. I used to be a chemist. I worked for I worked for a company, and I used to talk to people who work for themselves. So I found that's what I like. But not everybody likes that. So it depends what you like. You can make money. You can make a lot of money in either way. I said as long as you have the skills that are in demand. So I think this brings up something which I've been thinking about actually. So maybe I'll make a tutorial on predictions, how we can predict what's going to be popular in the future. For example, languages. Like for me, I'll give you an example. Remember I told you I started my company in 2009. People thought I was nuts. People thought I was crazy. They said that, how can you not offer Flash? If you guys, I don't know, some of you guys might be too young, but Adobe Flash used to be very, very popular. And people thought I was nuts that I didn't offer to create websites in Adobe Flash. I already knew even way back then that it's a dead end. So I didn't offer. And people thought I was crazy. And then Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs, he mentioned that he would never allow it on the iPhone. And then almost overnight, it dropped probably like 40% usage. So, but I'm saying is even if he didn't, even back then, Google was also moving away from the YouTube videos used to be in Flash. They were moving away from that using iframes. I was probably one of the first people to. I went to my blog here and I removed all the Flash stuff and I just went to iframes way back then. So my point is that you can see the trends of where things are going and stick to that train. So I think I'll create a dedicated video on maybe one of the night streams on how you can decode which language is going to be popular. Yeah, we'll probably do that. Might do that soon actually. All right, guys. So if you want to know more about me, you see every article. I also have a little bio here, so you can see here I'm a software engineer, web developer, and author. And you can explore my books. I have the bookshop on Amazon here. And if you need support, I have ojamboservices.com. And if you're ready to learn, I have my online courses at ojamboshop.com. If you need coupons for the jamboshop.com courses, let me know. I can generate some coupons. I haven't generated coupons this year, but I can generate them again. And that's it. So I'm not sure. The weather is actually pretty bad. I'm not sure if I'm going to do another live stream tonight. I think I probably won't, but I probably will. I think I'll wait until there's some AI stuff. A lot of good, exciting AI stuff as well. Oh, speaking of AI, most of the AI stuff is the front end stuff. It's actually done with Python. So Python, if people thought Python was a dying language, AI is pretty big right now, and Python is going to be there for that train. You know what I mean? So if AI crashes and burns, then Python obviously will also be less popular. That's how it goes. But I don't see that happening for a while. There's a lot of investment in AI stuff, and for me personally, I like generating images in AI. So I think that's actually pretty useful. The other stuff, like, it's not going to replace me, despite what the people say. But for my particular use case, images are pretty good. Video is not there yet, but definitely it's getting close. That's because of Python. All right, I've been rambling long enough. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and let me finish up here. I'm going to check all the other live streams. So let's check. Nothing in BitChute, nothing in Rumble, nothing in Odyssey, and no more questions from Dreams in YouTube. Okay, guys. So I'll see you in the next tutorial. If you want to see what the next tutorial, you simply go to jambo.com. You go to watch menu, live summary. You can see topics, what's upcoming. You can see right there. It's always at 2 p.m. Eastern. With that said, again, I implore you to subscribe if you haven't. It helps out the channel, and it helps bring in more people who can either share information, and then I'll dispense that information. I share everything here as well. So for example, like Dream's mission, he inspired me to for a topic for an upcoming tutorial, which I'll show you guys how I correctly predicted that Flash was gonna die. It took a while, but I knew it was a dead end, and how, for example, I can let you guys know my opinion on stuff like Rust, all these new languages, Go, and all this language, if you're going to actually be around in the future, and how you can pretty much accurately predict the way things are going to turn out in the future.